2:47 a.m. The red numbers glow in the dark, a familiar, unwelcome beacon. For 65-year-old John, this is the third time tonight. He sits on the edge of his bed, the immense weight of exhaustion pressing down on his shoulders, a bitter, simmering frustration he knows all too well. He glances over at his wife, sleeping soundly, and a sharp pang of envy, mixed with a heavy dose of guilt, twists in his gut. He does everything he can to be silent, to not wake her again. At this age, John had imagined a very different kind of life. He'd envisioned long, spontaneous road trips, just him and his wife, exploring winding country roads and visiting old friends without a rigid schedule. Instead, his world had shrunk. Its boundaries were no longer defined by maps and highways, but by the relentless, nagging demands of his own bladder. His life had become a meticulously planned military operation, a constant, anxious calculation of his proximity to the nearest restroom. Road trips, once a source of joy and adventure, had transformed into grueling ordeals. Every journey now began not with a spark of excitement but with a strategic, almost paranoid scan of the route for gas stations, fast food joints, and official rest stops. He'd find himself driving with a low-grade panic simmering in his chest, his eyes darting from the road to the GPS, his mind a torturous loop of, "Can I make it another 20 miles? Is there a bathroom at that exit? What if there's a line?" The simple, profound pleasure of being on the open road was gone, stolen and replaced by a humiliating, ever-present anxiety. He remembered a recent trip to see his grandkids, a 3-hour drive that required 4 stops. He'd tried to make a joke of it, laughing it off as his old man's tour of America's restrooms, but the look of genuine concern on his daughter's face told him everything. In that moment he felt like a burden, a walking cliché of old age he had always sworn he would never become. And the nights were the worst. They were no longer a sanctuary for rest and rejuvenation. They were fractured, broken into disjointed, frustrating segments of restless sleep. It wasn't just 3 or 4 wake-ups, it was a torturous cycle that repeated itself with maddening predictability. It would start with a faint initial urge, a whisper he'd try to ignore, bargaining with his own body for just a few more precious minutes of sleep. But the whisper would grow into a shout, an undeniable command that forced him out of his warm bed and into the cold, dark hallway. He'd stand there in the profound quiet of the house, waiting. The stream, when it finally came, was weak, hesitant, a frustrating shadow of what it once was. And the feeling afterward was the cruelest part of the joke, a persistent nagging sensation of being never quite empty. It was a physical lie that wore him down mentally, leaving him to stumble back to bed wondering if he'd be back in the same spot in another hour. He would. He always was. Sleep, when it finally returned, was shallow and fragile, haunted by the anticipation of the next inevitable interruption. The next morning, a thick fog of fatigue would hang over him. Coffee didn't cut it. He was irritable, his patience worn thin. He saw the worry in his wife's eyes as she'd ask, "Rough night again, honey?" He'd just nod, unable to articulate the depth of his exhaustion and despair. And here's the part most men, including John, don't say out loud. It wasn't just the physical discomfort, it was the relentless, crushing stress of it all. It was the cumulative effect of lost sleep, night after night, chipping away at his energy, his mood, his very vitality. It was the profound, deeply unsettling loss of control over his own body, a feeling that eroded his confidence and his sense of self day by day. He felt trapped in a conspiracy of silence, too embarrassed to discuss the specifics even with his doctor, resorting to vague complaints about just getting older. He felt utterly isolated, believing he was the only one going through this private nightly hell. He'd seen the ads for miracle pills, the late-night infomercials promising a quick fix. He was skeptical, cynical even. He'd tried a few over-the-counter supplements with 0 results, leaving him feeling more foolish and hopeless than before. He was on the verge of resigning himself to this being his new normal. Then, during a particularly honest conversation with his doctor, born from a night of absolutely no sleep, something shifted. His doctor didn't just pull out a prescription pad, instead, he started talking about lifestyle. He explained that while age was a factor, John's fate wasn't sealed. He laid out a set of simple yet powerful daily habits. There was no miracle pill, no expensive or complicated gimmick. These were consistent, science-backed choices that worked with his body, not against it. John was hesitant, but he was also desperate. He decided to commit. He started with one small change, then another. The first week, not much happened. But he persisted. Then, in the third week, something remarkable occurred. He slept for 4 hours straight. He woke up feeling a sliver of his old self, a forgotten sense of true restfulness. It was a small victory, but it felt monumental. This glimmer of hope fueled his consistency. In the weeks that followed, the constant, frantic urgency began to ease. He found he could finish a cup of coffee without immediately needing to find a restroom. In the months that followed, the nights truly began to calm. The wake-ups dwindled from 4 to 3, then to 2. And one glorious morning, he woke up to the sun, realizing he had slept for 6 uninterrupted hours. The relief was so profound it almost brought him to tears. John reclaimed his life, not through a magic bullet but by understanding his body and making intentional, informed choices. He got his sleep back. He got his confidence back. He and his wife are planning that national park road trip again, and this time, the only map they'll be looking at is the one for hiking trails. John's story is not unique. Millions of men share his struggle, often in silence. That's why we've created this video. We believe that knowledge is power and that you deserve to feel comfortable, rested, and in control of your life. In this comprehensive guide, I'll teach you the exact 7 habits doctors recommend to support and maintain your prostate health naturally. We won't just give you a list, we're going to dive deep into each one, explaining the science behind it in a way that's easy to understand. We'll provide practical, step-by-step instructions, bust common myths, and answer the questions you might be too embarrassed to ask. This isn't a lecture. It's a masterclass in reclaiming your comfort, your sleep, and your confidence. So, if you're ready to stop letting your bladder dictate your life and start writing a new chapter of health and vitality, stay with me. The journey to better nights and brighter days starts right now. Welcome. If you're watching this, chances are you or someone you care about is navigating the world of prostate health. It's a journey many men find themselves on, often quietly and with a lot of uncertainty. You may have heard the statistic. Prostate changes are incredibly common, affecting over half of all men by the time they reach 60. And that number only climbs with age. But let's be very clear about something right from the start. While these changes are common, a life of discomfort, anxiety, and constant bathroom mapping does not have to be your reality. Common is not a synonym for inevitable suffering. The power to significantly influence how you feel day in and day out is more within your reach than you might think. It lies in understanding your body and making conscious, informed lifestyle choices. That's why we've created this series. Think of it as your comprehensive masterclass for proactive prostate health. This isn't about a single magic pill or a restrictive, joyless diet. It's about building a robust, holistic system of habits that work together to support your body. We're going to embark on a deep dive into 7 core pillars that can fundamentally change your relationship with your health. First, we'll transform your kitchen into a powerhouse of healing with food. We'll go beyond generic advice and explore specific anti-inflammatory foods, the role of powerful plant compounds called phytonutrients, and how simple dietary swaps can help manage symptoms and support a healthy prostate. Next, we'll tackle hydration. It seems simple, but for anyone dealing with urinary urgency or frequency, it's a source of major anxiety. We'll teach you the art of smart hydration, not just what to drink, but when and how, to keep your body hydrated without constantly triggering that gotta-go feeling. Then we'll get you moving with purpose. Our section on movement isn't about training for a marathon, it's about targeted exercises and gentle activities that improve circulation to the pelvic region, strengthen the pelvic floor and reduce tension that can exacerbate symptoms. We'll also equip you with practical bathroom strategies. This is about retraining your bladder and reclaiming control. We'll introduce you to proven techniques like timed voiding and the double empty method, turning frustrating, frequent trips into a predictable, manageable routine. We'll then explore the profound connection between your mind and your prostate in our chapter on stress and sleep. You'll learn how chronic stress and poor sleep can fuel inflammation and worsen nighttime urination, and we'll provide powerful, easy-to-implement techniques to calm your nervous system and finally get a restful night's sleep. Knowledge is power, so we'll demystify screening and monitoring. We'll help you understand what tests like the PSA really mean, how to track your symptoms effectively, and how to have more productive, confident conversations with your doctor about your health journey. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the foundational concept of inflammation control. You'll learn to see chronic, low-grade inflammation as the common thread running through many prostate issues, and how every one of these lifestyle pillars is a tool to help you manage it effectively. Throughout this masterclass, we recognize that one size does not fit all. We've built in specific adaptations and modifications for those with limited mobility, arthritis or other medical conditions like diabetes or heart disease, ensuring this guidance is practical and safe for you. Now, it is absolutely crucial to state our most important principle. As always, the information presented in this series is for educational and informational purposes only. It is designed to empower you with knowledge, but it is not and can never be a substitute for personal medical advice from a qualified healthcare professional. Your health story is unique. A proper diagnosis is the essential first step. Symptoms like urinary changes can sometimes be linked to conditions other than benign prostate enlargement, and it's vital to have a doctor rule those out. Think of us as your educational partner and your doctor as your diagnostic and treatment partner. This partnership is especially critical if you are experiencing persistent issues like chronic pelvic pain syndrome or have been diagnosed with prostatitis, which requires specific medical management. Furthermore, if you are currently taking any prescription medications, particularly things like diuretics, alpha blockers for blood pressure or blood thinners, it is imperative that you discuss any significant lifestyle changes with your doctor and pharmacist to avoid any unintended interactions. Your doctor can help you integrate these strategies safely and effectively into your overall care plan. So, let's begin this journey to better health together. Why it matters? Chronic inflammation can worsen urinary symptoms and comfort. Your plate is the fastest lever you control. Add more of cooked tomatoes, lycopene, sauces, soups, paste, cruciferous veg, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, omega-3s, salmon, sardines, mackerel, plant options like walnuts, flax, pumpkin seeds, zinc plus antioxidants, sprinkle on oat salads, reduce, replace, processed and charred meats, excess sugary snacks, drinks, caffeine and alcohol, especially late. Start small, 1 extra serving of veg at dinner, swap red meat for salmon, 1-2x/week. The paradox, drinking less often backfires. Concentrated urine irritates the bladder, more urgency. Do this instead, front-load fluids, sip steadily morning, mid-afternoon. Fluid curfew, reduce, stop approximately 2-3 hours before bed. Double void, finish, wait 60-90s, try again to empty fully. If you take evening meds, use just enough water to swallow. Why movement? Improves circulation, weight, inflammation, and mood. Daily plan, walk 15-20 minutes after meals, great for blood sugar and inflammation. Pelvic floor, Kegels. For men, find the muscles, the subtle lift you'd use to stop gas. 10-20 reps, hold 3-5s, relax 3-5s, 2-3 sets, day. Breathe, don't tense abs/glutes/thighs. Adaptations, chair exercises, light bands, pool walking. Note, if you have chronic pelvic pain, prostatitis, ask your doctor before Kegels. So far, anti-inflammatory plate, smart hydration, daily movement plus pelvic floor. These 3 alone can reduce urgency, improve stream, and support calmer nights. Don't white-knuckle it. Holding urine overstretches the bladder and increases strain. Aim to void about every 3-4 hours in the day. Preemptive trips before car rides, meetings, bedtime, pair with double void to minimize residual. Sit less. Stand, stretch, or walk a minute every hour. Stress, cortisol, inflammation, worse urinary symptoms. Many men also clench pelvic muscles under stress. Micro-reset breathing, 90 seconds. Inhale nose 4, hold 4, exhale mouth 6. Repeat X6 8 cycles. Shoulders down, jaw unclenched. Evening wind down, screens off 60 minutes before bed, dim lights, cool dark bedroom, consistent schedule, herbal tea instead of alcohol, gentle stretches, pair with your fluid curfew. Goal, reduce nocturia by setting your nervous system to rest and digest. Dial down, processed snacks, fried foods, sugary beverages, excess red, processed meats, heavy late-night meals, simple swaps, nuts or yogurt instead of chips, fruit or 70% dark chocolate instead of pastries, brown rice/whole grain toast instead of white. Why it helps. Lowering inflammation often eases urgency and improves overall comfort. What to discuss with your doctor. Urinary symptoms, sleep disruption, medications/supplements, PSA testing, DRE, and individualized screening schedule. When pelvic floor PT, alpha blockers, or other therapies make sense. Reframe. Screening is peace of mind and early action. Keys to staying active and independent. Your 7-habit toolbox: plate, hydration, movement, Kegels, bladder rhythm, stress, sleep, trigger cuts, checkups. Pick one to start today and build from there. 6 months in, John's restroom mental map faded. Drives were about destinations again. Sleep stretched to 5, then 6, even 7 hours. He walked after meals, ate salmon and broccoli twice a week, practiced Kegels with the morning news, swapped beer for herbal tea, and respected his fluid curfew. No silver bullet, just small, steady habits. His stream strengthened, urgency eased, and the quiet confidence came back. You'll see saw palmetto, stinging nettle, pygium and more. Evidence is mixed, quality varies, some interact with meds, for example blood thinners. Smart approach. Discuss any supplement with your doctor or urologist first. If you proceed, choose third-party tested brands, track one change at a time for 4-6 weeks to judge impact. We've covered a lot of ground together, and now it's time to bring it all together. This isn't an ending, but the beginning of your proactive journey toward better prostate health. We've unpacked 7 powerful natural habits. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways. First, your plate. Embrace antioxidant-rich foods like cooked tomatoes and green tea to fight inflammation. It's about strategic addition, not restriction. Second, smart hydration. It's not just how much you drink, but taper off fluids before bed to dramatically reduce nighttime bathroom trips. Third, targeted movement. Strengthen your pelvic floor with Kegels and boost circulation with brisk walks. This improves control and reduces inflammation. Fourth, bladder rhythm. Shift from being reactive to proactive by creating a predictable urination schedule. This trains your bladder and gives you back control of your day. Fifth, stress and sleep. We learned that stress worsens symptoms. Simple relaxation techniques and, most importantly, prioritizing consistent quality sleep are non-negotiable for hormonal balance and repair. Sixth, your personal triggers. Become a detective and identify the foods and drinks like caffeine or alcohol that personally affect you. Knowledge is power. And finally, the foundational 7th habit, regular checkups. Remember, these habits are powerful partners to your doctor's care, not replacements. An open dialogue with your healthcare provider is your most important tool. These 7 habits are your interconnected toolkit for a better quality of life, each one amplifying the effects of the others. Now, looking at this list might feel overwhelming, but you don't have to do everything at once. The promise is this: just add one. Pick the one habit that feels most achievable right now. Maybe it's swapping your afternoon coffee for an herbal tea, or committing to a 15-minute walk after dinner. Just one small change. Because when you do, you'll start to notice steadier days. That means sitting through a whole movie with your family, or taking a long drive without anxiety, and then come the calmer nights. Imagine sleeping for 4 or 5 uninterrupted hours and waking up feeling restored, not frustrated. This is the direct result of small, consistent action. If you're ready to continue this journey with us, to explore more doctor-backed masterclasses for vibrant senior living, take a moment to subscribe to Senior Wellness Daily 365. We're here to provide you with reliable, empowering information every week. And you are not alone. Thousands of men are putting these habits into practice and reclaiming their lives. We get messages every day that inspire us. There's John, a 72-year-old who had stopped going to his weekly book club because he was embarrassed by his constant need to use the restroom. After 2 weeks of focusing on bladder training and cutting out acidic juice, he's back with his friends, fully engaged. Then there's Michael, a 65-year-old golfer whose game was suffering from discomfort and anxiety. He started with daily pelvic floor exercises and a brisk walk. He told us the mental relief has been the biggest prize. He's finally enjoying his time on the course again, focused on his swing, not his bladder. These are real stories from men who decided their quality of life was worth a small, consistent effort, and it led to a profound shift in their daily experience. Now, we must also talk about the alternative. It's tempting to do nothing, to accept this discomfort as an inevitable part of aging. But choosing inaction is still a choice, and it has consequences. The discomfort you feel now can intensify. The fragmented sleep stops being just an annoyance. It takes a real toll on your daytime energy, your concentration, and even your immune system. And the avoidable worry grows. It's the hesitation before a car ride or a social event. It's the slow shrinking of your world as you begin to avoid situations where a bathroom isn't immediately available. This path can lead to isolation. It's a heavy price to pay when a different path, one of proactive, gentle change, is right here in front of you. So let's bring it back to that first, simple step. Start small, stay steady. This is the mantra. It's not about a radical overhaul, it's about the quiet power of consistency. One good habit makes the next one easier. Better sleep gives you energy to exercise. It all works together. Your health is your greatest asset, and today you've armed yourself with knowledge to protect it. If this masterclass was valuable, please help us spread this information. First, subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives. Second, click the like button. It helps other men who are searching for answers find this video. And third, and most importantly, share this video. Think of one person, a brother, a friend, a partner, who has mentioned these struggles. Sending them this video is a profound act of care. It says, "I'm thinking of you and I believe things can get better." Your journey to greater comfort starts now. This isn't about chasing youth, it's about embracing a vibrant, comfortable maturity. Your next chapter can and should be more comfortable than your last. You have the tools. We believe in you. Thank you for investing this time in yourself. We'll see you in the next video. Progress, not perfection. You have more control than you think, and it's never too late to make a change. Thanks for watching Senior Wellness Daily 365. I'm cheering you on. See you in the next masterclass.